demonstrating that is through these guiding principles, which actually are strongly influenced by those other best practices. So perhaps in the past, where ITIL was seen as being just basically something that the service guys sort of follow and worry about, this is now something that can apply to the whole of the IT organization. And what you're seeing with ITIL 4 is that people who come from, let's say, non-traditional service facing areas of IT can now recognize and actually see some affinity with ITIL through these guiding principles, these ways of working. So we don't have time to sort of go through these in any great detail, but in terms of positioning the guiding principles, ITIL says, well, this is how we believe people should approach their work, at all times, so that if people are sort of thinking and approaching work in this consistent, common way, then we start to see, the benefits, the value, and the consistency of what we do and how we do it come through at all times. Okay, so things like focus on value is very much around recognizing that if we deliver value through our IT products and services, then whenever we look to do something different, so when we look to change something, whenever we look to add something, maybe arguably even if we look to decommission something, we should ask the question, are the things we're doing actually the right things to be doing? Do they add value? Yeah. If they don't, then you've got a question, because we're busy boys and girls. Why are we doing this work? If you're going to make an improvement, if you see an opportunity to improve something in maybe your part of your team, yeah, well, what's the value of that? If it makes life easier for us, is that really a good justification? Or do we need to understand what the value would be to the beneficiaries, the recipients of these changes? And if we understand that and there is clear value, then it makes sense to progress that. If there is no value to those who may be the recipients or beneficiaries, then maybe we should be looking for other things to do, because if there's no value, then why are we doing it? There's no point going to your business customer and saying, look at all these fantastic improvements we've made. And their retort is, well, actually, if you talk to us first, these are the things that are really important to us now. Yeah, if you'd have asked us, these would have been the things we would have said, can you please focus on maybe improving some aspects of these things? So all that stuff you've done, all that time and effort you've committed, yeah, interesting, but doesn't really address and add value to us today. So focus on value, a real key approach to when we're looking to do work. Is there value in doing it? If there is, that's great. If there isn't, we've got a question why we would want to spend time and effort. Start where you are. So IT perhaps has a history in the past where we've often gone out and, bought maybe products, tools, technologies when we could have made use of what we already have. I mean, I've been in some organizations where how many business analytical reporting systems does an organization need? One, possibly two. Why have we got five? Yeah. One IT organization I came across had two job schedulers. Yeah. Well, why not just have one? So start where you are is very much around look at what you've already got. Look at what you can already leverage and exploit before you start considering going into the marketplace or building new things. Yeah. Because if you do that, it takes time and effort. Yeah, usually adds delay to being able to ultimately deliver what your consumer wants, and it's probably more expensive. So make use of what you got rather than think you got to start with a complete clean sheet. And that makes a lot of sense, particularly if you need to move forward quickly and respond quickly. We can exploit what we've got. In some cases, you can't exploit what you've got because it's not fit for use, it's not fit for purpose. Well, that's okay, but at least it's being considered. Yeah. Progress iteratively with feedback. Takes a strong steer from things like Agile, where you may have heard of the minimum viable product. So what's the smallest amount of work we can do to get some immediate value? So rather than package things up as part of a project that's going to take the next 12 months, can we break it down into small increments where we're delivering some ongoing value incrementally, so we can see some benefits coming through rather than having to wait for the project to deliver in 12 months' time. And as we do each increment, get some feedback. Yeah. Has it delivered what we expected? Yeah. Has it delivered the benefit and the value that was expected? Have we learned anything from implementing this particular increment? Yeah. So maybe there's a better way of working for, the next and subsequent sort of iterations of that work. So that progress iteratively with feedback, break things down, quick wins, progress over perfection, deliver some value quickly, rather than, have to come up with a polished solution, which may take, 12 months to ultimately deliver. So again, a key part of that approach. Collaborate. So ITIL likes teams to share, to move away from what sometimes is referred to as silo working, where we work in our team and we know what we do and we're good at what we do and we make decisions on what we think is best. Yeah, only to sometimes find out that actually if we'd approach people, if we'd engage people who may be involved in, receiving the change or supporting the work with the change, then we might have come up with a better solution. So it's good to talk is the mantra around collaborate. Yeah. Again, takes a steer from things like DevOps. So let's understand the bigger picture. Yeah. If you propose something and talk about it, you're going to get feedback, which may ultimately end up with better buy-in and a better solution. Okay. So talk to the people it affects. Talk to the people who may be doing the work. Also, sometimes talk to the people who may have done this or similar work before, because their pain is your gain. Yeah. So when I was in software support many years ago, when we're looking to exploit a new feature in a piece of software, we'd get the vendor in to say, this is what we're looking to do. This is how we plan to do it. Can you take this away and come back? Have we missed anything out? Is there anything silly we're not doing? Oh, and by the way, do you know anyone who's done this recently? Because it'd be really great if you could broker maybe a conference call so we can understand other people, their approach, other things that were their pain can be our gain. So collaborate, yeah. Think and work holistically is recognizing now that IT is a very complex thing. Yeah, lots and lots of different technologies, lots of different sort of interfaces. Does anyone have the brain the size of a planet that can understand any service completely from end to end with authority? Probably not. So think and work holistically is the challenge to say, if you're looking to make a change, to your particular area of subject matter expertise, again, a bit like collaborate, think bigger. What are the potential, consequences of what we do upstream or downstream? Can we use technology such as end-to-end automation, end-to-end sort of capacity and performance? Can we use the data we collect in some of our service management tools to give us that bigger picture? But it's good to talk and engage, with other areas that might have an impact or an implication of what you're planning to do. Even though what you're planning to do is the right thing to do, let's talk first. So a bit of an overlap there with collaborate. Keep it simple and practical. Takes a steer from things like Lean and Six Sigma. So again, complexity. We've got a lot of it in our workplace, so let's not add to that unnecessarily. So start with the end in mind. What you're trying to achieve. Can you do it in the sort of limited, minimal number of steps? Can we have a pragmatic approach? If we keep things simple, they're easier to document. They're easier to maintain. They're easier to understand. Complex things, obviously become harder to document, harder to maintain, sometimes harder to understand. And that might be a great approach for doing something new, but also apply that principle for things that we've got already that have been out there for many, many years. I mean, I don't know if you can see me on the video, but we often turn the handle in IT. We've always done it this way. No one ever stands back and says, do we still need to do that? is there any value from what we do? Can we take some of those steps out? Yeah, make it less complex. Again, start to make it easier to understand, easier maintain, easier to document. So again, you can apply that principle not just for new stuff, but things we've already got. And optimize and automate, again, similar from that lean efficiency sort of angle, which is let's look to exploit automation. Yeah, but automation is quite an expensive resource. So a bit like focus on value. Let's automate the things that make a difference. Let's automate the things that help the organization be more successful. Let's automate the things that deliver a better customer and user experience. Yeah. You know, let's not just automate things that make life easy for us. Yeah. I used to be an operator. We used to write lots of automation that made the operator's life easy. We could have an extra 10 minutes on our coffee breaks. We could have an extra 15 minutes on our lunch break because we got a lot of automation doing the things that we used to do. Yeah. Question, is that the best use of automation? And is it adding any real value ultimately to the organization and the consumers of your IT services? Possibly not. Okay. So automate, yeah, where we can. But again, a bit like keep it simple and practical. Don't automate complex things because you'll just create complex automation. So if you keep things simple and practical, they're already optimized. Yeah, they lend themselves to automation. If you've got a process or a workflow you want to automate, standardize, simplify as best you can to create more efficient, more effective automation. And if you get that right, then automation will do what you've told it to do every time, consistently, at machine speed. And we can free up resources from some of that manual work to be redeployed on things that make better use of their skills, their insight, their experience, and make some of the work that they do maybe more fulfilling and rewarding to them as well. So these guiding principles, as I say, influenced by those other broader best practices, but a way of working we want everyone in the organization to adopt and apply. Okay, so not rules, not standards, not policies, but recommended ways of working. Yeah. Which guiding principles do we use? Do we select one? Do we use all seven? Well, use the ones that are most appropriate for the work you're looking to do. Okay, so again, you know, it's not mandated. You must use one or you must use all seven. Select the ones most appropriate. Okay, so guiding principle, quite an important part of ITIL 4 because it helps to shape the way we work. And for many organizations, yeah, looking to work in an ITIL 4 way, this is one of the big but easy first steps to take in terms of this is how we want people to think, to approach work, to you know, behave, and to shape those sort of attitudes, yeah, through those guiding principles.